And welcome back to the second segment of the show. We are going to come away from the League Cup. The league games we're going to talk about later. I think we need to give the old boys a bit of respect. So let's talk about the ILFL and Sonali Ostrich Veterans League Cup. Yes, it was the League Cup, so the league took a break, and we last 3 weeks worth were really all about the League Cup. So we had the league group games. A couple of weeks ago we had the two group games, Group A and B playing their games out, and then we had 2 weeks ago, a week before after that, we had C and D play their games, and then those teams that went through last week went through to the quarterfinals, and we had the quarterfinals and semi-finals played in that one night last Thursday. It was one hell of a busy night, and boy did we have a crowd on that freezing Thursday. We had a crowd out there to watch these teams. Let me take you over to the screen so we can have a proper look and dissect all those results. So the ILFL and Sonali Otit League Cup. So in the quarterfinals we had, as you can see on your screen right now, London Tigers Vets. They were the first games they played. Tower Hamlets Vets, that was 0-0 and was forced to penalties, and it was a 2-0 win to London Tigers in the penalties. Well done, London Tigers. So you went through to the semi. Then we had Mohammedan Vets up against Revive Legends. Was it going to be a giant kill? It wasn't. Revive Legends just about squirming it through, 1-0 to Revive Legends. Well done to you guys. Then we had Sire Vets, the highest scoring team in the group stages to go through, and they likewise swept aside Bromley, although it was just 1-0, but it was a very convincing win. And then the result of the quarterfinals was Weavers Vets beating Beaumont Masters B 3-0. So those were the four teams that went through, and then the semi-finals were played out. London Tigers versus...
That's an error.
That's an error on our screen. Ignore that. That was London Tigers. They
played Sire.
They played Sire, and who was it that got through?
Sire went through.
Sire went through, beating London Tigers.
Oh,
so apologies on the print there. And the second semi-final there was between Mohammed and Revive, and again, that's an error on there for us. Rash, who was the other semi-finalist?
Revive beat. I'm trying to think now.
It was Weavers, wasn't it?
No, Weavers in the final.
Weavers in the final, and they're up against. We do apologise. I thought the screens were going to be there setting it all up for us, but it wasn't. But anyway, we have the finalists, and it's Weavers versus
Sire.
Sire
A.
So, and that's the A team. Excuse me. Our results screen has got a bad cough as I have, so hence why we're getting results looking a bit funny. But anyway, congratulations to the old boys of Weavers and the old boys of Sire A. You two are the finalists. So we're going to see hopefully a new team on the Veterans League Cup final. And Rash, it was an interesting night. I mean, I probably couldn't comment so much because I wasn't there at the league matches in the first 2 weeks. I missed last week, so you're going to have to fill in for us.
I think for me, Sire are the team in form at the moment in time. They're doing really well in the league itself, surprising a lot of the teams. They've already beaten Tigers in the league, so the motivation was there, and they knew that it can be done, especially in the semi-final. Although it had to go to penalties, I think Sire felt confident. Weavers, again, a form team, top of the league, doing really well. I know they'll a bit hurt from the fact that they got relegated from the Premiership last season, and they wanted to prove a point and make sure that they earn the respect back and get promoted back. And I think League Cup, they showed, yes, they played against Beaumont Masters B, but they didn't have the strong side, but they still grinded that result. And then obviously in the semi-final they beat Revive. So both teams deserve to be in the final. I'm happy for them both because they weren't the teams that people were naming before the draw was done. I think people were looking at likes of London Tigers or Bromleys or the Premiership side, so to speak.
I mean, I was going to say, our last finals have been quite boring, really. The same, London Tigers, Beaumont, Bromley or Tower Hamlets.
So
it's a breath of fresh air, these two
Especially
teams.
with London Tigers, I thought they, I felt sorry for, I think Tower Hamlets gave in the quarterfinal with London Tigers a hard game, but they lost in penalties. But it goes to show, if you look at the results, a one goal, once you concede a goal, the defence has to be there. Once you lose one goal in the cup games, because the times are limited, it opens up the games, and credit to both sides, because they look sharper, they look fitter, they look hungrier, and they deserve the win. And I'm really happy for Weavers as well, because they are a very good side, and as we said before, long-term wise, if a team shows the preparation and skills, it does pay off, and both teams deserve to be in the final. Hopefully,
hold their league form, because I want to talk to you about that. Shax, your team, Bromley Legends, I mean, got through. Although it was a really tight group they were in, they got through, and then they come up against Sire Vets. I mean, Bromley was a bit of a revival, but they couldn't get through, could they?
They are struggling, aren't they? To be honest, let's be honest. The league table does show it. They're only drawn one.
No, I agree with you. The league table was bad, but the cup they did all right.
They did all right, but we just don't have the striker to score goals. And the whole team is a bit of a mismatch at the moment, to be honest with you. So they're not having a good time at the moment.
They're struggling to score. But if you look at the group stages, when they played 3 games, they actually drew 2 games 0-0, and on the final game they won 1-0 to go through. To score 1 goal in 3 games just shows the lack of firepower, so to speak. With size reverse, they were scoring a lot of goals in the group stages. They're scoring a lot of goals in the league, so they don't have that the fear factor. They've got the goal scorers, players from midfield and strikers chipping in. With Vets League, you need to have a finisher. If you don't have a finisher, then you struggle, because with the 7-a-side, it's easy to defend. A lot of the teams prefer to defend, but you need 1 or 2 players to break that defense and score the goals, and that makes a difference. And I think Saya at that moment of time, and the other teams who are successful with the goal scorers is what makes a difference.
Let's actually have a look at everybody's league form. So coming up for you on the screen now, I'm going to show you the Premiership table. So this is the Premiership of the Vets League. And there you have it. So we have London Tigers sitting there at the top, but joint with Beaumont Masters on 10 points each. London Tigers having that better goal difference, and as we've seen this season, London Tigers have been banging in those goals, and they've got quite a few goals, 7 more than Beaumont. But Sire Vets as well, finalists for the League Cup, and then they're only a point off. They've got a game in hand against Beaumont Masters, so they could go above them very easily. And Stepney Legends, the early pace setters have sort of come to grips with mid-table again, it seems. They're in 4th place, but plenty of games to go. They're only 2 points off the top, to be really frank, and results go their way, they'll be top again this Thursday. And we've got Abahani, the team that we seem to complain about that don't score enough goals, and that probably says it all. Scored 6, conceded 6 on a goal difference of 0. So Abahani, teams are starting to work you out now. You probably need to change your tactics. Then we've got St Catherine's Vets there, promoted from last season, and there's always going to be one promoted team that struggles. If it wasn't Stepney, it's St Catherine's. So St Catherine's sitting there second from bottom, but the team of the worry, and as Shaks just mentioned, and I guess him being a member of that club, rightly so, Bromley Legends sitting there bottom. And I mean, if we look at their fixtures, in the Premier Division coming up, avoid that, the Premier Division fixtures on that screen now that you can see. This Thursday, Abahani are up against Saya. London Tigers, so they could bounce straight back up to the top if they beat second from bottom St Catherine. And Stepney Legends and Bromley Legends, that used to be an old El Clasico, but it looks like this is a mid-table battle now. Well, mid versus bottom, so that would be an interesting one. In the first division, we've got Hawk and Eagle. They'll be up against Revive this Thursday, and Weavers will be up against Tower Hamlets Vets this Thursday. So Weavers looking to extend their lead at the top there. Tower Hamlets are hot on their heels, so that will be a really good game for this Thursday in the first division. And one game this Thursday in the second division is Elite Vets versus London Tigers B. If we look at the first division table, there it is for you. So Weavers there, 2 points ahead of Tower Hamlets. Tower Hamlets are not going to be giving up. Tower Hamlets could go top if they beat them this Thursday. Then we've got Revive. If results go their way, they could find themselves in second place. And then we've got Bernardo there, again, still hot on the heels of Revive. So really 6 points only separate the top 4. And then we have Beaumont Masters B sitting there with 2 points, and Hawk and Eagle at the very bottom with just that solitary draw that they got, I believe, against Beaumont Masters themselves. Yeah. Before I look at the other division, Rash, let me talk about your boys. You know, you work your legs off for that Beaumont Masters B, but second from bottom, having had a blinding season last year.
To be honest, we actually surprised ourselves last season. We didn't think we'll be quite successful as we did last season. This season, obviously, a year later, and other teams, I have to say that Weavers, Hamlets and Revive are a really good side. They should not be in Division 1. They play the way the Premiership plays, and the pace and the skill factor. I think all these 3 teams will compete in the Premiership. So obviously it's a bit difficult for us. As Beaumont B, it's more about us getting game time. For us, it's not about game promotion. It's not about winning the championship. It's about playing and participating. So we're enjoying it, regardless of score. We are enjoying it. But hopefully, tonight or in the coming weeks, we'll get a couple of results and we'll go finish that mid-table last season.
Quick question, actually, because I know David has spoken about this with you guys on the show before. I've not had a chance to, but obviously this is the first season that we're actually piloting the reserve team system. So even though we said Beaumont Masters B, we're actually talking about Beaumont Masters reserves. We also talk about London Tigers reserves and Sire reserves. So if anything, last season it wasn't reserves because it was your fixed registered players.
That's right.
Nobody else can come in. This year you're able to use some of the Premiership players. But sounds like, has that ruined it for you?
It hasn't, to be honest. It's more of an advantage for the main team, the A team. We let players play for if they're short or if they can't make it or if they're running late, and a few of the players help out the A team. It doesn't really affect the B team. It actually makes a difference to the A team. So it's a system that has proven the Premiership is more tighter now. We don't have any teams with less than 7 players, and the teams are stronger because they can the 3 teams that got reserved, they can always call up on the reserve players. For us, I think this season the 3 teams are very, very strong. I think that's the main reason why we're finding hard to compete. And with likes of Weavers, Tower Hamlets, and Revive, they are very, very strong. And I think they will compete, as I said before, with any Premiership side. But as I said to me, we did qualify for the cup finals, which no one expected in the group of death with 3 Premiership sides. So we did get in the last couple of weeks, we're doing okay. So it's just a matter of getting a couple of wins, and then we're finishing respectable. So that is the aim anyway. So there's no shame in that.
Okay. Just as he mentioned as well, games for tonight. So right after this show at 9 o'clock, Stepney Green AstroTurf. What games do we have coming up for you on the screen? I'm going to read them out to you. In the first division, the match for tonight will be Bernardo Legends versus Beaumont Masters B. So Rash will be heading over there and getting into his tights and shorts just to sort that game out. And then we have the second division. We have, I'm just going to read from bottom to top, we have Saya Vets B doing very well against E1 Legends. And then it looks like a top of the table clash between Mohammedan Vets versus Riverside, because that's how the table looks in the second division. Riverside Vets, a few weeks ago, we were looking at them, 100% record, storming it, but then they drew last week against second from bottom Elite. So they have now got their lead cut down to 4. Mohammedan are hot on their heels, so that's a big game tonight. For those of you that would like to see a few veterans really tussle it out, that's the game to be at. And then Saya Vets, they're not giving up pursuit either of Riverside there, and they'll be up against bottom of the table E1. So it's looking like a very, very tight second division. Only 4 games to go. Shax, I'm going to start with you. You've seen a few of the second division Vets teams play. What's your opinions of the teams there?
They're very good. They'll make you run around. They have lots of energy, but technically not good, but they have that energy, and that is really good to see, and lots of energy. And obviously the technical part you don't expect them to be, but that energy will tire other people up, and it's been really good. It's been really good.
I think
Rash, give us some commentary.
I think what it is, just to touch, with the exception of Riverside Vets, all the other 5 teams are brand new teams. So it took them a few weeks just to get used to the system and play in the 7 side. And now the fact that they played a few games, they got used to the system, they're starting to show likes of Elite. First couple of weeks, they weren't sure where they are. Now they've got used to the idea of playing the 7 side against the teams. They've got to recognise what's needed. They're pulling off results. So I think in the coming weeks, you should see some good games with the 5 new teams, because it's the first season. It's just a matter of getting to know how it works.
So basically, in short, Riverside didn't deserve it. Riverside are just well
prepared.
No,
Riverside, to be honest, they're playing good football and they deserve the credit, and they're on top by merit. But I think obviously now the other teams will catch up. I think they will compete. Like you mentioned, Elite drew with Riverside. That was not on the cards. Elite now they've sorted themselves out. They've got a team sorted out. They know exactly what's required. So all the new teams will be established. Like some Mohammedan Vets, they couldn't get results first couple of weeks, and now in the second. So I'm sure in the coming weeks the table will change. Okay.
That is your Vets League summed up. So for those of you that've got nothing to do tonight, head down to Stepney 9 o'clock and see some of these Vets battle it out. 2 second division games and a first division game. And then we've got the remainder of our Vets fixtures, all of the other Premiership games, plus the 2 first division games and 1 second division game being played this Thursday at Mabley Green. So only 4 weeks left of this, plus we're going to announce in the next few weeks where that cup final is going to be played. So that is the Vets League wrapped up for you. I'm going to go for another break. When we come back, we're going to quickly wrap up the league divisions and the upcoming fixtures and what it's going to look like. Maybe take a couple of predictions from these guys before we close off for the night. So don't go too far. We're going for a break now. See you in a few mo's.